When you're getting ready to go out, what do? How do you prepare? What do you wear? What do you not wear? What's your mindset? I get up every morning and there's different things I always do as part of my routine. When you're getting ready to go out, say to eat, to work, socialize, you're pretty much focused on just that and just that alone. But when you're going out to do something like serving, it's a little bit different. It's written in Matthew 28. Jesus is talking in verse 19 and 20. It's the Great Commission. He says, "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you. And behold, I am with you always to the end of the age." Going out to serve is a lot different than just going out. Your heart's got to be in the right place. And sometimes you get, I don't know, maybe a little bit more conscious that God's watching you, that He's with you. Maybe you're worried about struggles that are going to come along the way. Today I'm really excited. I get to go back to a homeless shelter I used to volunteer at once a week a few years ago and see old friends and see familiar faces. So I'm really excited to actually have a day where I can just go. I hate traffic. It's my least favorite part about going anywhere is the traffic. Never ceases to fail though. You ever notice when you're in a rush, you always get a million red lights? It could be that one time when you never, ever get a red light at a particular stop. But today, because you're trying to get somewhere, there's the red light, and here's traffic. I think a lot of times in life, we're constantly getting red lights that we don't choose. We're constantly getting stuck in that 5 o'clock traffic kind of roadblock where we want to go, but things we can't control are holding us back. I think back to Jesus' time, they were walking around and they didn't really have a lot of hiccups or anything that were going to cause them to be hindered in going anywhere. They just went and just served. They didn't have to worry about traffic, cars breaking down, red lights, crap like that, or what we're about to have to deal with, getting gas. Always gotta love stopping and filling up. Nothing quite like it. You ever notice though, when it comes to picking gas though, we never get the premium. Filling up is kind of a metaphor for what it's like in life. Being spiritual, you can fill up with prayer, talking to God, getting fed through just talking to Him and listening to Him. We get filled up with worship sometimes. Praising and having an encounter with God that way. And then there's fasting. Fasting is one of the best ways to prepare yourself when you're going to serve. So many times that we don't fast. And it requires discipline, but that gives us the direction we need. Work. Hello? Hey, what's up? No, I did not send that report in. Well, I was on my way somewhere, but I can stop at a coffee shop somewhere and get on their Wi-Fi and resend it. Yeah, okay, I'll get on that. Alright, bye. There's always distractions stop us from going. Work, family, friends, relationships. There's always something that stops us and distracts us. I started thinking about it, do our distractions ever become idols? Are we so consumed with school, so consumed with work, that while they're good things that need to be in your life, they're important, do they become idols? Do your priorities become things that trump where God is in your life, where He should be? I remember, looking back when I first stopped serving at this homeless shelter, I moved and then work got busier, and the next thing I know, I don't have any free nights during the week. And while everything I was doing was important and justifiable, I stopped serving. I wasn't going anywhere to serve. I was just going places to be there or to fulfill obligations. And you have to ask yourself at some point, how demanding are my distractions? And if God was you, would he be distracted by them at all? Work happens sometimes. You know, I work at a church, there's always opportunities to serve anyways. I thought I sent this report in, but it's funny, this report's actually on an opportunity we've had to serve. The youth group, we sent our student leaders to a conference called Do Good in Atlanta, and we picked up this ministry called Operation Baby Rescue. And you know, we've got to report what our fundraising's for and everything, but I mean, it's serving in itself, you know, it's saving babies from malnutrition in Guatemala, which is great, you know. I mean, we don't go there, but we send money to it. It's a great thing. And you know, thinking back to the verse from this morning, you know, when Jesus said go, I mean, he said go, but he didn't say now. He didn't say when, really. He just said go. And you know, there's another verse I was thinking about too. It's Acts chapter 1:8, where he says, go out and you'll be my witnesses in Judea and Samaria and even to the ends of the world. And thinking about, you know, it's here, then there. You gotta start here, and then you go there. What's up, bro? Man, nothing. I'm about to send off this report real quick for work. Yeah, I can come meet with you guys. I got something to do, but I can push it back a little bit. Where y'all gonna be at? Okay, man. Well, let me send this, and I'll be on my way. Alright, bye. Yeah, so it's here then now. Here then there. But you know, maybe it's not just say now, but sometimes you gotta make it later. I mean, I think that's the big idea. As long as you're going at some point, that's what matters. Okay, so it's the end of the day, and I didn't get a chance to go. But you know, I started thinking about it. You know, if you look back at the Great Commission, again, it didn't give a time period. And you know what? The need will be there tomorrow. I'll just go tomorrow. And you know what? Probably someone else has been coming even when I haven't been there, and I'm sure they'll go again tomorrow. They probably went today. You know, the need will be there. So really, it's not that big of a deal if I go or not. You know, they'll be okay. The need's there.
You know, it's not hard to see that there's this great imbalance and that things aren't right. You know, I know that, but for me, I suppose, it really hits home if I stop and think about this moment, because it's happening right now. In the same moment, you have, you know, a generation who are sitting around entertaining themselves watching reality television, which, to be honest, is anything but real, while you have a child who is being prostituted behind closed doors and robbed of their innocence. It's not fair that we can go about consuming every single material option that comes our way while, you know, the widow and orphan are stripped of life's basic dignities because they're victims of a conflict that simply isn't theirs. It's not fair that there's a generation who are choking on their obesity while at the same time there's 30,000 children who will die today for lack of food. It's not fair that we have no problem going about spending $3 or $4 on what is basically glorified tap water in a bottle with a fancy label, while you have entire communities who suffer at the hands of disease because the only water that they have access to is foul and polluted. It's not fair that we, can sing and dance and jump around in our freedom and in our liberty, while at the same time the slave remains captive, out of sight and out of mind. It's not fair that we can sit and watch the evening news from the comfort of our living rooms and pity those who lived where the storm hit, or where the ground shook, or where the water rose, and simply feel sorry for them and then change the channel and get on with supper. Is it fair to walk past the homeless man and give him nothing in the assumption that he'll spend it on booze or cigarettes, or to suggest that he should go out and get a job? I mean, who are we to judge the alcoholic or the prostitute or the addict or the criminal as if we are any better? Who are we to forget the downtrodden or the oppressed or the marginalised while we go about chasing the dream? We see this imbalance and we go, man, that's not right, that's not fair. But all too often that's all we do. Because for us to do any more is actually going to cost us something. And if that's where it ends, perhaps then it's fair to say that when we ignore the prostituted child, that we actually lend our hand to their abuse. That when we ignore the widow and the orphan in their distress, that we actually add to their pain. When we ignore the slave who remains captive, that it's us who's entrapping them. That when we forget the refugee, that it's us who's displacing them. That when we choose not to help the poor and the needy, that we actually rob them. Perhaps the only fair thing to say is that when we forsake the lives of others, we actually forsake our own.